Hello everyone. So today we're going to be programming Advent of Code using Nix. I asked in a previous video, what should I be doing next? Should we go further into understanding how Nix packaging works, or should we just play around with the language first because we just finished the language basics tutorial? And Leonard, hello Leonard, thanks for the comment on YouTube, said Advent of Code. So we're not quite at 2024 Advent of Code. It's still November 14th. But, I'm pretty excited to try it out. So we're going to do day one of 2019 and see how it goes. So let's see. Usually when I do these things, like I've never done Advent of Code before, so this is going to be cool. But usually when there's words, being the autistic person that I am, like I get so lost. In school, it was always such a nightmare, like when they gave word problems. When it was all math symbols, it was great. But like as soon as it's like, oh, there's words, I just never understood it. So I'm going to read this out loud. I tried reading it to myself once and it just made no sense. Usually when I read it out loud, it's a lot better. All right, let's look. Day one, the tyranny of the rocket equation. Santa has become stranded at the edge of the solar system while delivering presents to other planets. To accurately calculate his position in space, safely align his warp drive, and return to Earth in time to save Christmas, he needs you to bring him measurements from 50 stars. This feels like an episode of Little Einsteins or something like that. Um, Collect stars by solving puzzles. 2 puzzles will be made available on each day in the Advent calendar. The second puzzle is unlocked when you complete the first. Each puzzle grants 1 star. Good luck. All right. I'm not really retaining anything. It just sounds like you just keep going. The elves quickly load you into a spacecraft and prepare to launch. Okay, I'm in a spacecraft. This is cool. I wonder if it's like, I wonder what kind of spaceship it is. At first, at the first go no go poll, every elf is go until the fuel counter upper. They haven't determined the amount of fuel required yet. I know this coworker, like the one that it's like that was their only job, right? The only thing they had to do, and you're like, time to go, and they're like, yeah, here's the thing. Fuel required to launch a given module is based on its mass. Specifically, to find the fuel required for a module, take its mass, divide by 3, round down, and subtract 2. For example, a mass of 12, divide by 3, round down, get 4, then subtract by 2 to get 2. So let's try this out. Our friend Nix REPL. 12 divide by 3 gives you 4. Yep. We don't need to round down. We subtract 2, and we have 2. Perfect. Mass of 14, divide by 3. This is the second one. It already rounds down. Looks like Nix does integer math and rounds it down. So like I imagine if I did this, you would get, you're right, you see how now it's a floating point number. So anyway, we stick to our integer, 14 divide by 3 minus 2. We still get 2, exactly like it said over here. For mass 1969, divide by 3 minus 2, we get 654. That's correct. 756 divide by 3 minus 2, we get 33,583. So we know what we'll need to do. The fuel counter upper needs to know the total fuel requirement. Well, that's his job. Like, it's like he needs to know it. Yeah, he needs to know it. It's his job. He's not counter-upping anything. To find it, this feels like a quest from like some MMO like World of Warcraft. Okay, go and figure this out. To find it, individually calculate the fuel needed for the mass of each module. This is your puzzle input. Oh, here it is. Get your puzzle input. Then add together all the fuel values. All right. What is the sum of the fuel requirements for all the modules on your spacecraft? And we answer here, right? Okay. So we'll click here and get the requirements. I will just like copy this all, I guess. Sorry, this is probably too like small on the browser, right? Yeah, okay. Did I click copy? I don't even know. Well, let's see. And then in my Helix editor, I will make a new file and we will just copy. It looks like that worked. Is the last number 52? Yeah. And the first number is the same. All right, so now we'll save this as puzzle input. And we'll make a new file that will be our Nix file. So we'll do like let foo equals hello in foo, just to like default.nix. And what I think I'll do is I will just try to run nix instantiate minus eval minus strict, and that automatically, if you don't give it a file name, reads default.nix, and we know that works, so great. Okay, so now we have something. So what we want to do, like what I'm thinking, is that what we want to do is read the file in, somehow separate it into a list of numbers, and then run that function where you divide by 3 minus 2 on each one, and then we'll add it all together in the end, right? Makes sense. So we need to like figure out how to read a file. So I opened up the Nix reference manual and looked at built-in functions. Probably most of what we'll need is going to be in there. And I remember there was a whole bunch of like fetch get. You guys seeing this? Yeah. Fetch get, fetch tarball, fetch URL. How do you like read a file? Find file. File. Oh my god, there's some billion files. Find file. Oh my god, hash file. I wish there was something that lists all the names here, right? It's probably like read file. There we go, read file. So let's read the file. One day we'll know all of these functions. So we do built-ins dot read file, and we give it the path. And remember, a path, you can go back to my video series learning the language. We learned a path is just like a basic type where it starts with like a dot or dot dot or something. So what did we call it? Puzzle input, right? And let's see what happens when, oh, we gotta assign this to something. So we'll call it raw input. Yeah, returns the contents of the file as a string. Okay, so let's see what this does. We'll just like try to print it out. Aha! I caught it. If you guys know me, I never remember to put the semicolon in the end. All right, so it read the file, and we can see that it has new lines. That's the \n in there, which we don't really want, right? We want a list, and this is currently just a string. So we're going to have to like split this up. So let's look at split, see if they have one. Split regular expression string. All right, I'm going to read this. Returns a list composed. I can tell already it's like going to be one of those Nix things. I think Nix has a reputation of not writing the clearest documentation, or at least it's clear to like super smart people, but not to me. Returns a list composed of non-matched strings. So it's whatever regular expression we're passing in that doesn't match, interleaved with lists of the extended POSIX regular expression regex matches of string. So it's going to have non-match, match, non-match, match, or match, 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 non-match, whatever. Each item in the list, each item in the list of match sequences is a regex group. Okay, so this is like a group because it's in parentheses. Wow, okay. And this is the regular expression. It's A followed by B. So, and then the input string is ABC. So the very first thing, I guess it's saying this is a non-match. This is non-match string with lists of the match string. So this is the list that matched this A within this regular expression. And then it didn't match the C. All right, so it matched the B, but it wasn't in the group, so it doesn't print the B in here. So now in this one, the whole thing is in the group, and it's saying like it can be an A or a C. It's not A followed by C. It's an A or a C, either with A, B, C. So I guess it always kind of starts, maybe it always starts with the non-match. And then we get an A because that's in this set. Then we get the non-matched B, and then we get a list where it matches the C, and then we get the end. All right, so anyway, let's try, there's like trying to fully understand this, and then there's just like, let's just do it and see what happens, right? So here we will call this like split input. Built-ins dot, what's it called? Split regular expression. We'll just give it like the new line. And we want to give it the string. And then here we can print out the do the split input. All right, so what's really funny here is that it's printing out all the non-matches as the you know, like 110321 is a non-match, and then it matches the new line, but because I didn't put it in the group with parentheses around it, I think that's why I get the empty list. Let's check that out. I was hoping this would be so short because we'll just solve it, but like I just love kind of testing out, like, do we understand any of this stuff? There we go. Look at that. We do understand. Now it has the new line within the list, but I honestly don't need it. Like, I'm just happy getting just like an empty list. So this makes me think like, how about we filter out the empty list, right? So usually in functional languages, you have something called filter. Filter, where f returns true. Returns a list consisting of elements of a list for which the function f returns true. So it's going to basically go through our list, and it's going to look at each element, and if my function that takes in that element returns true, it's going to keep that element in the list, and everything else is kicked out. So we'll call this filtered input. I'm very creative. And we give it a function. So let's do it this way. First, I'm going to make a filter function like this, right? And that's going to be like an element as the parameter. And then if the element is equal to, no, if the element is not equal to empty list, then we keep it. Yes. If it's not empty list, we keep it. I think that's right. And then so now we can pass in, oh, and then we put that. And then we pass the function. Filter takes in the function, and we take in the list. And the list is split input, right? I think that's right. Oops. Oh, that's because I'm not changing what I'm printing out here. What filtered? One day I should configure my thing to use a language server, but I'm kind of weird. Like, I'm kind of happy that it doesn't highlight or tell me anything. This is totally old school, like no IDE. All right. So what do we get now? We got a list of numbers, but they're not really numbers, they're strings. And look at the very end, it has a new line. Probably because our puzzle input has this new line. So if I got rid of this, how do I get rid of this? Like this? Why can't I get rid of this? I don't think I can. Yeah, I can't get rid of this. So what we'll do is, if it's not equal to the empty string and or is not equal to, yeah, I think, and it's not equal to the empty string, new empty list and empty string, then we do it. There we go. I was gonna freak out like, wait, what? How does logic work? All right. But just so you guys know, we could put this thing in directly into this function. Like where we have this, we just do that. I think that's right. And now we have this, and then we can get rid of this, and now it still works. We can just pass in this, what it's called a lambda function, because it's an anonymous function, and it'll just use it. So that's pretty cool. One of the reasons why we like functional languages. I'm not liking how I'm typing built-ins all the time. So if you recall, we got this thing called with built-ins. And I think that's the syntax. Let me try it. Yep. And now we can probably get rid of all the built-ins. So we go like built-ins. Oh no, that's not going to work. I'm still like a Helix newbie. And then we just delete that. Ah! There we go. All right. So let's see if this works. Yay, it still works. So that kind of like is a little easier to read, I think. All right, so now we want to change this to a real integer. To integer. No, we don't have an integer. Int. Oh, but we're going to get a lot of int. Okay, floating point, point is int. Well, that's not almost. Int, print. All right, so this isn't going to help. What's it called? Nix packages library. Maybe it's this it? Yeah. Remember when we learned about this, we learned there were two places that are standard to bring functions. One is the built-ins and the other one is the standard library. This is the standard library, I think. So I'm guessing that it would be part of strings. Um, Seriously, like, guys, why don't you have a list of all the functions on the left so I don't have to scroll like this? Let's just look for two. Car to int. No, we don't want the ASCII value. Oh, God. Two lower. Wait, where's my second to int? Car to int, car to int, string to int. Okay, so here we go. Parse a string as an int does not support with zeros. Okay, well, we don't have that problem, so I'm guessing we'll just have to call map on this, and map should be in here somewhere. If you don't know what map is, here it is. It applies the function to each element, so it's kind of like we're going to modify each element in a way. We don't say that. We're going to map we pass it the function, right? And the function takes in an element and calls, oh shit, we gotta pull in this thing. So we do, how does it work? Import Nix packages, and then we have to evaluate it. So we can do Nix packages, or we can do packages equals this, right? And then we can do, well, let's make sure that just works first. All right, great. And then I think I can do packages lib, right? So I can do like lib equals packages.lib. And then I can do, what was it called? Lib strings to int, and we want to call that on the element. I'm sort of thinking backwards here. So we go map, and we pass in the function. All right, map, we pass in the function, which is to int, and we then pass it the list, right? Map function list, right? And the list is filtered input. And we have to assign this to somewhere, and we go to like integer list. And then we integer list. Hey, look at that. That worked. Okay, I don't like how I have two lines here, so let me try to do lib is equal to, just like put this all around the parentheses and dot lib. And then I think that will be, why doesn't it like it? Oh, because I have packages here. We don't need packages. There we go. Right, so we didn't need that extra assignment. We're just like grabbing this, we're calling the function. So now we get back the attribute set that is all Nix packages, and we call lib within it, and we have it here. And that works. In fact, I think we can do with import Nix packages dot lib, and I think we can get rid of this, and then we can, no, we can just do that. Let's just do it like this. Yeah, and I think we don't even need this. There we go. because this will return like the Nix packages as the attribute set, and lib is one attribute in there, so it's brought up to our scope, and we don't have to type lib. But I think I can just type lib here. In fact, I can type lib strings, and then I can just call toInt, I think. Ah, that's because I need parentheses. Guys, this is why my videos are so long. Look at that. Well, we'll see if we keep it that way or not, right? That actually looks really ugly. I can't do it. I can't do it. We're just gonna leave it like this. I think this is probably more of what most coders in Nix would do. I'm just guessing. All right. What were we doing? Okay, so now we have this. We have this list. We're so close, right? Now we're going to write our function, which is, what is it, like calculate fuel is equal to, we take in the mass, and then we do mass divided by 3 minus 2. Let's just see if it parses it. Yep, it's happy with it. So now we have our function, and now we can use it. So we can map our integer list. Oh, we got to pass it the function, calculate fuel, and we give it the integer list. And then we're going to call this fuel calculation list. Okay. And then we will print this out here, fuel calculation list. I think that's right. Let's see. There we go. So notice like this number 11 became 36,000, so it's about 3 times less. 61,000 became 20,000, which is about 3 times less. So we're maybe right. I mean, I guess we could like be crazy pedantic about this and do Nix REPL, and then we do this number divided by 3 minus 2, and then we get 36711. There we go. So we know that we're getting the right numbers. And then now the very last thing is we need to sum it all up, right? So total fuel is equal to, I feel like just because it's like the last thing, we should probably just put it here, because that's like all these lets, and now we got the main thing here, which is oh, so what we have to do here is a reduce. We need to go through every single element and like add them up, and usually there's something called reduce or fold in these things. Okay, so it's called fold, and it has this apostrophe here, which looks a lot like Haskell. Usually do that when there was an old version that you don't like anymore. So it's like the new version, prime, fold prime. All right, so we'll do fold prime. Reduce a list by applying a binary. Okay, it's one of these Nix texts. Reduce a list by applying a binary operator from left to right. Yeah, that's why it's called L, because it's folding from the left. Some languages have fold R also. Example, fold L prime op null x0, x1, x2, is equal to the operator op null x0, x1, x2. Wow, they make it like, it's very technically correct, but this is hard to understand. The main thing to remember is that, well, we'll just do it here. It's like super easy. We want to pass in the operator, which is like, we want to add 2 numbers, right? So we'll do something like x, y, and we're just going to add the two numbers together. And then it's basically saying like, now we're going to go from the left and basically get our first number. But because we have two numbers here that we need to start with, what's the other number? And that's where you can pass in the starting value basically. This is usually called the accumulator in other languages. So it's going to be like 0 plus, and then it's going to go 36771, and then it'll have a number, and then it's going to call whatever that is again with 2603, and then it'll keep going on that way. If that doesn't make sense, please let me know, and I'll go straight into I'll have a whole thing on what fold is. I think that looks correct, right? And now we have to pass it the list. Yeah. And the list is called fuel calc list. All right, let's see if that works. Ay, ay, ay. All right, we have a number. Do we dare just copy this? Wow, that's pretty big. Answer. Should I feel scared? That's the right answer. You are 1 gold star closer to rescuing Santa. Guys, we did it. So what do we want to do here? We want to see if we can make it even better. I wonder, in a lot of languages, you can just pass the plus. Okay, it doesn't like the plus. Sometimes you can put it in. It doesn't like that. That's too bad that you can't pass in the plus, because basically it's the plus operator. Maybe there's a way to do it, but I just don't know it. That's too bad. Anything else in here that we could make better? Split, filter, map. Yeah, we can pass this function directly into here, right? So we do mass we just do mass divided by 3 minus 2. And now this should still give us the same answer. Yep. I think, guys, this is as good as I can make it. I'm sure there's Nix programmers that would be way better. In other languages, sometimes there's ways to kind of just string these along with pipes or something like that, so I don't have to keep typing this. I haven't seen anything like that in Nix yet, so it's kind of and we could instead of doing just read, we can just kind of simplify some of this, read file puzzle input, right? And oops, why doesn't it like that? Oh, because this is probably doesn't know how to parse this. There we go. But I don't want to put too much on one line because it gets really hard to read, right? Anyway, I can't think of anything else to do. We could join the toInt and the fuel calculation into one function. Not a big deal, right? I mean, why that's good is because we're going through the list a whole time, and we're doing toInt, and then we go through the list again to do the calculation. If we just went through it once, then that would be n instead of 2n, right? So that's kind of nice. Yeah. Anyway, please leave comments if you have a much better version. Maybe I'll post this on GitHub or something like that. If I do, I'll put in the description. But yeah, please like and subscribe if this was interesting. Maybe I'll do another one of these, or maybe I'll just wait until 2024 starts, because this is kind of cool. I thought this would just look horrible in Nix, but honestly, if this is it, this is not bad. right? This is not that bad. I bet if you look at this compared to a C++ version or something like that, it's probably not that bad. Like, I don't know how to find other examples, but it'd be kind of interesting to compare. Yeah, so I have a Discord server. If you have any questions, if any of this didn't make sense, please come and ask me. Then I learn like, what stuff is harder to understand and I can explain it. Yeah, let me know in comments also if you like this or not. Have a good day. Talk to you soon. Bye.